Students, we have started chapter number 4, metal and non-metal, and in this metal and non-metal we have completed physical properties of metal, and I have explained you that the metal have solid state, they are lustrous, and generally they are hard, have high density, and different metal have different colors. Then it show the property of malleability, by which it can be beaten into thin sheet, okay, with the help of hammer. And I have explained you that gold and silver was the best malleable metal, followed by aluminum, tin, iron and copper. And ductility we have done, and I have explained you the property by virtue of which the metal can be converted into thin wires. So this property is called ductility. Okay, then we have done thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity, and in the last I have explained you what is sonority. Okay, when metal is strike to a hard surface, then they start producing sound, and this property makes the metal sonorous in nature. After that, we have completed chemical properties of metal and non-metal, and I have explained you that whenever any metal react with oxygen, it always form oxide. And what was the nature of oxide? The nature of oxide was basic, okay, which turn red litmus into blue solution. After that, we have done some examples of magnesium and sodium, in which they turn red litmus into blue, showing that it contain basic nature. Then we have done chemical properties of non-metal. In that we have completed that whenever any non-metal react with oxygen, it form non-metallic oxide. And what was the nature of non-metallic oxide? The nature was acidic, and it will turn blue litmus into red. After that, we have completed some activities which elaborate that the metallic oxides are basic in nature and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Okay, up to here we have done, and reaction with water we were doing. Okay, so whenever any metal react with water, it always form metal hydroxide or metal oxide along with hydrogen gas, which make the reaction exothermic. What is exothermic? The reaction in which heat is evolved out, means heat is coming out after a reaction, then such type of reactions are called exothermic reaction. And we have done that sodium is very highly reactive metal, which when kept in oxygen, it readily form metal oxide, and when it is kept in water, it form sodium hydroxide along with liberation of hydrogen gas. So now we were doing corrosion. Yes, students, corrosion means the process of slow wearing, or you can say eating up of a metal surface due to attack of atmospheric moisture. It can be gas, it can be acid. Okay, so such type of phenomena is called corrosion. In simple words, you can say that whenever any metal surface it is attacked by any gas, atmospheric gas, moisture or acid, then it start getting weakened. Okay, and due to formation of corrosion, we can take the example of rusting. You must have seen iron articles get rusted, isn't it? And what is rust? Rust means hydrated iron oxide, Fe2O3.NH2O. In place of N, you can write XH2O also. X means Here the water molecules are changing. To show the variable number of water molecules, he has taken the value n. Okay. So what is rust? When any iron surface react with air, water or any chemical present in the surrounding, then a brown fluffy substance is formed and that is called rust. Okay. To mention specially iron, we are using rust phenomena, and for all other metals we are using corrosion. Okay. So what is corrosion? Corrosion I have explained you. Now come to discuss corrosion of copper. How? Copper vessel acquire a green coating. You must have seen copper vessels, isn't it? Where you have seen copper? When your mother used to give water to Surya Dev, isn't it? Then what she used? She used copper vessels. And when the copper vessels are very uh, old or of many days, then what will happen? With the passage of time, a green material start forming on it, and that green material is mixture of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. Okay, you can see here also, when this copper react with water, water means H2O, carbon dioxide and oxygen, then what it form? Copper hydroxide CuOH2 plus CuCO3. What is this CuCO3? It is called copper carbonate. Okay. So this was the corrosion in case of copper. But when we see the corrosion in case of silver, you must have seen silver articles, isn't it? Your mother wearing pile at their feet. Okay, that pile is made up of silver, and with the passage of time they lose their luster and become blackish in color. Okay, then due to formation of hydrogen sulfide, it react with hydrogen sulfide and form silver sulfide. Due to formation of silver sulfide, that is Ag2S. Okay, this silver sulfide formula is Ag2S. What is Ag here? Ag means silver, and what is S? Sulfide. They react with hydrogen sulfide gas to form silver sulfide and become blackish in color. Okay, and in real world also it was mentioned in your book. Very good example was given of the pillar near about Qutub Minar, and it was in Delhi, and it was such a wonderful monument made by the iron workers that the it was kept in the open, isn't it? And there is no rust on it. It is totally rust free, or we can say it is totally rust resistance. Okay, no rust was seen on that iron pillar. You have noticed that whenever we keep any iron article in presence of moisture and atmospheric gases, then what will happen? It will start getting rust. Okay, but here in this on this iron pillar, we could not see any rust from a long period of time. Okay, then you can have one more example. Phosphorus is a non-metal. Two type of phosphorus we have. One is white or yellow phosphorus, and another one phosphorus is also there, and they catches fire very readily. Okay, so whenever they come in contact with oxygen, they always catch fire. Therefore they are stored under water to avoid the contact of oxygen with phosphorus. Okay, now again, non-metals do not react with water. Therefore we keep phosphorus inside water, isn't it? Then what will happen when they react with acids? Okay, whenever any metal, you should remember this, that whenever any metal react with acid, it always form a salt along with hydrogen gas. And how you can say that hydrogen gas is produced. The characteristics of this hydrogen gas is that whenever this hydrogen gas is produced, then we can test it by bringing a burning candle nearby it. Then it will start producing pop sound. Okay, whenever a burning candle was come in contact with hydrogen gas, it produce pop sound and the gas burn with a blue flame. So whenever metal react with acid, they always form salt along with hydrogen gas. Is it? I think it is clear to you. Now come to sodium and potassium. You know that sodium and potassium itself are very what? They are very reactive in nature. They vigorously react with even oxygen. So you can say that this when they come in contact with acid, then they readily react and form NaCl along with hydrogen gas. Then magnesium Mg plus HCl. What is HCl here? Hydrochloric acid. When it react, it will form MgCl2 plus H2. Okay. Then you can take some more example of zinc, lead and aluminium in which they react with HCl and form different salts along with hydrogen gas. And when we talk about non-metals, so non-metals generally do not react with acid. Only metals show the reaction with acid. Okay. So let us do one more activity. In this activity, we have to determine that metal react with acids and liberate hydrogen gas. Okay. For this, what are the material required? The material required are test tubes, test tube stand, test tube holder, dilute, hydrochloric acid. Remember that whenever we are doing these reactions with experiments with acid, then always we will take dilute hydrochloric or any dilute acid. Okay. And a measuring cylinder, small amount of charcoal, iron nail, magnesium ribbon, copper wire, aluminium foil and weighing scale. Okay. You are advised always to do such type of activities in the supervision of any adult. Okay. With the help of your teacher. So you will take 5 test tubes and fill 30 milliliter of dilute hydrochloric acid to it. Take one test tube stand and keep all 5 test tube in it and pour a small amount of at least 30 milliliter of dilute HCl in both. And whatever samples we have taken in material required, we have to put that samples in the dilute hydrochloric acid. Okay. Now fourth one, if no reaction takes place in cold solution, then we can warm it also. Okay. Then what you will see that when we bring a burning mastic nearby the mouth of test tube, it will produce pop sound. Whenever hydrogen gas is formed and it will produce pop sound. So let us see what observation we will see in this. Charcoal powder, it is made up of carbon and whenever it will react, it will not form any hydrogen gas. Why? This charcoal is C carbon. Whenever carbon is a non-metal, when they react with hydrochloric acid, then no reaction will be shown. Iron nail, yes, again it is a metal. Magnesium also metal, copper also metal and aluminium foil also metal. So in all 4 cases, we will see that hydrogen gas is liberated when we bring a matchstick burning nearby the mouth of test tube and a pop sound will be observed. But in case of charcoal powder, we will not see any liberation of hydrogen gas. So it elaborates that the non-metal did not react with acids, whereas the metals react with acid and form salt along with hydrogen gas. So I think this property is clear to you. Then move to when reaction with base. This reaction with base, whenever metals are come in contact with base, they do not react. Okay, only few metals were there, like aluminium, like zinc, iron, lead. All these react with strong base. What are strong base? Like sodium hydroxide, and they will form hydrogen gas also along with it. Okay, and non-metals also, reaction of non-metal with base are also very complex. In up to this standard, you are not it was not given in your syllabus, but you can see that the non-metals reaction with acid is very complex process. So I think up to here it is clear to you. Now come to displacement reaction. What is displacement reaction? As the name suggests, displacement, displacing a highly reactive metal. This displacement in highly reactive metal displace the less reactive metal from its place, and as from, or we can say from salt solution, then it is called displacement reaction. I repeat once again, displacement reaction is a reaction in which a highly reactive metal always displace the less reactive metal from its salt solution, and such type of reactions are called displacement reaction. So how you came to know that which metal will displace the other metal? So we have made one reactivity series, or we can say an activity series. Students, in such type of activity series, we have arranged metal according to their reactiveness. Okay, the most reactive metal is kept on the top, and the least, as we move down in this, we will have the reactiveness less. You can see sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium. As we move down the reactivity series, the reactiveness of the metals are going less, decreasing. Okay, so the more reactive elements are kept on the top, like sodium, calcium, magnesium, all these, and the less reactive metals are kept in the bottom. You can see gold, silver, mercury, copper, all these metal did not react easily. Okay, so what is reactivity series, or we can say activity series? The arrangement of metals starting from most reactive metal at the top to the least reactive metal at the bottom is called reactivity series. And you can learn this reactivity series by one small statement also. I am telling you, you can write that कालू नाम का माली आलू जरा फीके पकाता है, हाई कोट है आपका. Yes, कालू means K will show potassium. नाम sodium. What is the symbol for sodium? Na. का Ca का. Mali from Mg. Alu Al. Like this you will see. I repeat once again that कालू नाम का माली आलू ज़रा फीके पकाता है, हाई कोट है आपका. In this, platinum was not given after gold. You can add platinum also. So this is a small statement to learn the reactivity series in an easier manner. Okay, you can easily find by this that if you see the position of zinc, okay, when we have the reaction of zinc with copper sulfate, and now if you see the reactivity series, where was zinc placed? You can see in reactivity series zinc, and you see the position of copper. Zinc is very much above on the reactivity series, so zinc can easily displace copper from its place and take its place, then zinc sulfate will be formed with copper. Okay, in this, which one is more reactive? Zinc displace copper from its place and take its place and become zinc sulfate along with copper. Same way, if you see copper and zinc sulfate is very less reactive. If you see that copper is less reactive than zinc sulfate, and it will not have the tendency to displace it. So therefore, in such case, there will be no reaction. Okay. Then iron plus ZnSO4. Fe is iron. If you see reactivity series, Fe is less reactive as compared to zinc. So in such case, there will be no reaction formed. Okay. So you can easily revise this reactivity series to find that which metal can displace another metal. Is it okay? Then it was given, the last activity of this chapter was given to prove that more reactive metal can displace a less reactive metal from its salt solution. Students, same way you can take test tubes and take different solutions. Okay, and by putting the samples, you will see that when copper sulfate and iron fillings are added, then what observation we see? We see that copper sulfate is of blue color. The blue color will become greenish in color. It means the reaction has taken place. Iron fillings are much more reactive than copper. So it will displace copper from its place and even change the color. And when we add zinc sulfate and iron fillings, no reaction takes place. Iron sulfate and copper turnings, same, no reaction takes place. Then magnesium sulfate and copper turnings, again there will be no reaction, since copper is not so much reactive that it can displace magnesium from its place. Then zinc granules with copper sulfate, yes, zinc is more reactive than copper, then it will change the color of copper sulfate, and copper sulfate will become colorless whenever there is reaction with zinc granules. Okay, so I think all these are clear to you, and in next video also we are going to do some uses. Okay, uses of metals and non-metals. Till now you should revise these things, and if you have any query you may ask me while commenting. Thank you. Have a nice day.